Like with every complex project from the calendar of URBINAT, there's a lot to be said about the concept itself. Now, the main idea behind it is that URBINAT is a research project, but it's not simply a research project, it's an action research project. So the concepts that we're testing out are being applied physically within the cities that are participating. Sofia is one of the three frontrunners, along with Porto in Portugal and Nantes in France. And there are four follower cities, with a fifth one that is taking an increasingly proactive role in the project. The follower cities are Brussels, Siena in Italy, Nova Gorica in Slovenia, and Høtastrup in Denmark, with Khurramabad, which is in Iran, participating on a very increased level. In terms of the concept of the project, the idea is to create physical transformations of the public space in all of the cities. They're urban regeneration focused on public space by including the local community throughout the whole process, from the initial stage of analyzing the local conditions, the specific needs and expectations of the people who live there, to the design stage where you involve the local community in the decision-making process of what is to be built there, in the co-implementation or the construction phase, where we actually take the action to materialize the solutions that have been ideated before, and the monitoring stage, which will follow all the previous ones in order for us to observe what the quality of the change has been in the specific neighborhoods that are targeted by the project. Now, first, in terms of the partners that are involved in the project, there are 28 overall partners internationally that collaborate to make the project a reality. And the idea is that each participating city has a duality formed by an academic partner on the one hand and a municipal partner on the other. So it's about the collaboration between the two that manages to transform the space in a more sustainable way while involving the local communities. So in the case of Sofia, the municipality is partnering with the University of Architecture, Civil Engineering and Geodesy in Sofia. And in the process, we involve NGOs that are active not only in the target area, but in the city as a whole, as well as private individuals who are very keen to make a change or to be a part of the change in their neighborhood. In terms of the actual demographic specificities of the case in Sofia, Nadezhda, our neighborhood in question, is located in the northwestern periphery of the city. It was developed firstly around a century ago, but then the main kind of period for its development was the 70s and 80s, during the socialist period of Bulgaria, when a lot of prefabricated concrete panel blocks were constructed that housed the majority of the population there. Now, it is not social housing in terms of the housing is owned by its occupants, which is the case usually in Bulgaria, but it was constructed during the centralized system of government of Bulgaria. So it was part of the socio-economic model of the time. Nowadays, the population consists of mostly ethnic Bulgarians, and the socioeconomic background is among the more deprived ones in Sofia. So we are talking about a disadvantaged neighborhood that has not received an incredible amount of investment over the recent decades. I would say that the biggest drive for its development has been the construction of the metro system in Sofia, which is a relatively recent phenomenon, even though it was started already before 1989. The first stretch of the metro was opened in 1998. So roughly in the last 2 decades, it has expanded to several lines covering a large part of the city, including Nadezhda. But other than that, in terms of the way public spaces function, the neighborhood has suffered from a lack of attention, and that's what we're trying to correct right now. The citizens there, much like in a lot of other places in Bulgaria, the way participatory culture works here is very much in its initial stages of development. So we're talking about groups of people that usually do not consider themselves a part of the decision-making process. They believe their voice doesn't matter. So they're disengaged from these processes, and we're trying to find a way to encourage them and to motivate them to participate in a more, well, consistent and proactive manner. I would say it's very much about creating horizontal networks of exchange between different groups that might have similar fields of interest. So it's very important to learn from the experience of other people, I believe, and other organizations. So I think a legacy of this project will hopefully be the fact that organizations from separate fields have managed to collaborate. That has brought forward more ideas about how we can tackle the challenges of the future, and how local organizations can search for like-minded partners elsewhere, because ultimately, you know, each of us is a drop in the ocean. But if we are united by a common set of principles, by a common purpose, then there is practically no limit to what we can achieve. So I believe these networks of cooperation that are being established are crucial importance to the success of any kind of endeavor involving participation.